And welcome to this week's Facebook Live. My name is Deborah Byrne from Deborah Byrne Psychology Services, known across social media as DB Psychology. So today we're actually going to be talking about toxic work environments and recovering from those. So as anybody will tell you that has been in a toxic work environment, it rarely stays, the effects rarely stay just within the workplace and just with yourself. We tend to bring it home. We tend to, it affects us mentally and physically, and it also affects our relationships, our personal relationships, our friends and our family, and everybody gets swept up into this environment. And it's not the kind of thing where you say, oh no, it's Monday morning again, oh God, I've got to go to work. It's not that kind of thing. It's more a sense of dread. Absolutely got to the point where you dread going into work. Thinking about work it just fills you with a sense of dread. I don't want to go to this place anymore. It's become too toxic for you. Now the toxic workplace, the sources of it can come from many different places, and becoming aware of what a toxic work environment is like, and that's what is part of what I'm going to talk about this morning, is really the first step in recovery. Recognizing, becoming aware, this is why I feel I can't go to work anymore. This is where the source of my anxiety is coming from. This is where the source of my high stress is coming from. So some signs that you may be in a toxic environment can be high staff turnovers, very common in a toxic environment, burnout among staff as well. Narcissistic, Machiavellian type leadership. You might find psychopaths, sociopaths already in that type of leadership roles as well. They would be very toxic people to work with or for, so of course they're going to be around there. Increasing levels of perfectionism. Now that would only be related to the staff themselves and not the management. In fact, management would have a decreasing level. So as the staff's level, the bar that you have to reach goes up and up and up, the management's level seems to go down, drops down, down and down. Management taking credit for the work that's been done, no credit being given to the staff, all the hard work that they've been doing. You'll see no discussions, no positive feedbacks, no disagreement or no discussion allowed around tasks, responsibilities, or or the project that you need to get done. Nothing like that. So really bad lack of communication or ineffective communication would be quite common in a toxic workplace. No enthusiasm among the staff. The rest of the staff will be feeling pretty much the same way you do. We get in there, we do our job. That's it. We're out of here. No social interaction. Another source can be cliques, gossip, a lot of drama, of course, backstabbing, no genuine friendships being built. And of course we've got the bullying and the verbal abuse, maybe even sexual harassment in there. Totally against the law, all of that. So, you have the law there to protect you. So recording anything like that and reporting anything like that is of course vital. The other one then I would say is, expectations that you're always at work. You're always on the job, if you like. So work is done at home. Work is taken home. You're expected to be on call 24/7, even on your time off, your days off, out of hours. You're working out of hours, things like that. So they're just some of the, ideas of where a toxic workplace, what type of things go on in a toxic workplace. Now, even if you don't recognize those, what you might recognize is some of the signs within yourself first. So you'd expect, sleeplessness, your sleep being affected, your eating being affected, hypervigilance, maybe racing heartbeat or palpitations. You'd also expect maybe somebody to have migraines or headaches, particularly on the days off, because your stress level has gone down, so therefore you're going to start exhibiting symptoms like migraines or headaches, or your allergies, you know, any asthma, if you suffer from asthma, any of that getting worse, particularly once the stress levels go down on your days off. So your mental health and your physical health is really, really badly affected by places like this. So depression, anxiety, and as I said, high stress levels are very common. All of those, and there's more, is in the blog, so do check that out. There are more signs in the blog as well. So getting around to what you need to do, first off, you're going to need an exit strategy. You really need to stop and plan something. And you do need a plan in place. You know, you want to be able to get another job in the future. So, you know, think about keeping an eye out for a job. It's time to leave. If you recognize that you're in a toxic workplace environment, it's time to move on to a different job. Very, very important, and I have to stress this, is document any sort of abuse, any sort of bullying, and report it. Report it to the HR department if you have one, or if this is coming from your own manager and you don't have a HR department, report it to their manager, their supervisor. You know, make sure that you are keeping any records of what's happening, and you will need advice, so please speak to a solicitor. I would also recommend, and this is the one time I do, there's a few times I will say to people, look, you really need a therapist. Toxic work environments can be quite bad for people, really, really bad in terms of your mental and physical health. So, you know, getting and talking to a therapist sooner rather than later is going to be better for better for you, particularly if you aren't able to leave immediately. You'll have that support in place. You know, have the support of a good therapist is vital, and you will need it once you've left anyway. Again, you know, toxic work environments are very isolating, or they can feel very isolating. You can feel very alone, even if you have got support from other people. But get that positive supporters in place. Now, I've talked about positive supporters in place and a positive support system in place before for people. So do check out the blog and the video on that. You really do need the right support. So part of that, you know, positive support system would be, as I said, a solicitor if you need one, and a therapist. Your doctor, your GP would all be on that list. But also, you know, positive family, positive friends really need to, you know, come in close right now and really support you in getting you out of there. Start taking back control in little ways. You know, so basic self-care, I've said it before, but a good, very basic self-care will help reduce your stress and your anxiety, and help you then also start to set boundaries, which you need to do, and take back control of your life again. So if you need any help with that, I do have a free group for mums. I know there's one or two ladies who've slipped in there and they don't have kids, but I don't mind that, so do come along if you want to. There's 8 units in there already on different topics, and one of them is your basic self-care. We've just also finished up on negative thinking. We're just finishing that up at the moment. So I'll leave a link in the description for the mums group below. As I said, you really need to you know, take back control. So, you know, keeping your boundaries in place. So if, for instance, if there is drama going on, if it's nothing to do with you, walk away. Just walk away. Start walking away from situations. It's not your responsibility to deal with people, and certainly walk away from the cliques and the gossip. You know, you're exiting out of there as quickly as possible. Watch the negative talk around you. So even, you know, you're already in a toxic environment. You're already having all this, you know, negative talk around you. People are going to be, you know, upset and maybe giving out, but they're not giving out to management, but they're going to be giving out among the staff. Cut back on the TV and the radio, the news cycles, anything like that, any social media, because it's all feeding in negativity into your head, and you really want to be watching how you're talking to yourself right now. And as I said, you know, use your journal to record your own thinking patterns, but also you can use it to record what's happening and how you're responding to it. A journal is really good for doing that. You can keep it to the main points, and you can spot your own thinking patterns and how, you know, your how this environment is impacting you on a daily basis. Now, there's 2 reasons for doing this, and they're very practical. One, you can use them with your therapist. The second one is, though, you know, if it's a case that you need to speak to a solicitor, you're actually recording the facts. You're recording the facts of any breaches of the law or abuse or anything like that there for your solicitor and how it has impacted you there. So it is a very useful tool, a very practical tool to use. So when you do leave, and there's about 6 tips in the blog. Anything I've just spoken about can be used as well, particularly the support of a therapist. And you need to really give yourself time to recover mentally and physically. It is highly toxic to your mental and physical health. So you really do need to give yourself time and patience to recover from this experience. So do check out the 6 tips. I gave you the 6 more tips in the blog. You can check it out at www.deborahbyrnepsychologyservices.com. So I'm going to leave it there this morning. It's actually quite a short blog this week, which is unusual for me. And I will talk to you all again next week. And good morning, Deirdre. How are you? I'll see you on Wexford Hour on Tuesday night, hopefully. And we can tweet away. It's a great hour. If you're on Twitter, you can check it out. Anybody who's in the Wexford area can check it out. It's a great hour on Twitter for business. And Deirdre hosts it every week. So I will leave it there, and thank you all for listening, and I will see you all again next Saturday morning.